welcome back. This is Breath of Fresh Faith.
Today we have
the Olivia Ralston.
Olivia. What is today?
Today is the V-Day.
It's Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
If you're listening, you should go out and do something fun because we went and ate some breakfast, even though we did not agree with at all. It's okay, y'all. Still support local. And we went to the mountains and we tried to record a podcast outside. It was beautiful out there.
My toes turned blue.
Yeah, her toes turned blue because she's wearing open-toed Birkenstocks today. I'm wearing closed-toed, so one of us got the memo, one of us did not. But we wanted to come on and just talk about the beauty of singleness and how there can be so much beauty that's found in it. And so, Olivia, why don't you just share about the season you're in and what God's been teaching you?
Okay. The single I'm in, I am single. I am single, I am single, I am single, I am single. Whew. I've been single for about 2 years now. And there are many things I love about it, and there are many things that I hate about it. To be so for real.
It's real. We keep it real.
Some of the things I really enjoy about it is that I'm able to go and do what I feel like I'm being called to do.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I've gone on like 12 mission trips in the past 2 years. I became a missionary. I am a legit, like, my title for my job is to be a missionary. Like, all these things, I'm able to go and work. I'm able to pay for my school. I'm able to get a car, all these things.
Boss woman.
Yes. It's what happens when you work 4 jobs.
She's not kidding you. She's not kidding. It's a miracle we got her on today.
I work 4 jobs, go to school full time, and I'm in a sorority, which we'll get to that in a second. But, yes, I love it. The negatives are my friends are all in relationships, or they're engaged, or they're married, and I have about 4 friends that are not, and so I can talk to them a lot, but at the same time we're all in the same area, so it's kind of hard sometimes to be hopeful of the future when we're all hoping for the same thing. I will say the Lord has opened many doors. One thing that I've struggled with a lot is to have friends. I cannot make friends. I have friends and then I don't keep them for longer than a year. Sorry,
that's
there's
so
a hair. And so just like the thought of, okay, like I even called Hannah like last week. I was like, okay, what's wrong with me? Like, all these people are just up and leave. They don't say anything. I try to talk to them. There's nothing I did, like all these things. And sometimes like I feel like it is because I do have very big personality. And oftentimes been told by guys, oh, you're too much. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. Which is a lie. You're not too much. You're not anything. You need to just let the Lord use you how He made you. And so she was like, no, like the Lord's got something for you. Just like keep praying, keep going, keep trying. And I was like, okay. So I went again and I was like, okay, I'm done talking to these people. Like, I'm done trying.
She did try.
Yes, I did try. I was like, I'm dropping out of school. Like, I'm never coming back here. I'm going to class and coming home.
We can't do that. So we went back to the drawing board with the Lord.
And so I remembered I had gotten this text from this girl that was in a sorority last year. And at this time I was in a different sorority, and just there was many things going on in that place that I was involved with when I did not have a very solid relationship with the Lord, and now that I do, I don't want to be involved in those things, so I did leave. And she was like, hey, I'd love for you to join our sorority, and I was like, oh, heck no, like all you girls are crazy, you all love to party, like you just want to hang out with dudes all the time, like I'm not doing this. And so the Lord was like, okay, go meet them, like you can go out to lunch with them and like go best off your intuition. I was like, okay, here we go. So I went, and I loved it. They're the most genuine girls I ever met, and now I'm a part of it, and now I'm able to make friends, and I'm able to go hang out with these girls, and a lot of them aren't in relationships, and most of them are in relationships, so I'm getting to see both sides of it, of being in college and being involved, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, college is where you find XYZ. And it's okay. I haven't found XYZ either. So if you're in that stage, like, it's okay. I'm a junior in college, so it's like my time's running out. But it's not. I'm 19 years old. Your time's not running out. My life has just started. And it's just very important to know that when doors shut, doors will open, even if it's not on the time that you want.
Well, also, God's so quick to follow up. Because, like, she called me. We prayed. She the next day went to the said next event that, or like hangout or whatever, that was just like with people that she wasn't clicking with. And then the Lord just like opened a door, like I think it was that week, I think.
And I didn't tell any of them. I still haven't told
I was
any
like,
of them.
what the heck? And so, but I don't know why we're surprised when God does things, like when we go to him. And it was just like encouraging, because I feel like God's been just like bringing so much breakthrough in all of our life, and has been like redeeming the things that like we feel like we got robbed of in former seasons. And like I'm so excited for her, because I'm like, heck yeah, like Olivia is one of the most bubbliest, outgoing people ever. Like she's like a younger version of myself, and so that's like when she called me, I'm like, oh God, like what am I going to be able to say to her? Because like I felt that even in my age, like trying to connect with people. But then not too long after our conversation of just like how I could relate, the Lord's been bringing breakthrough in my life, and surrounding me with such great people. And so it's been cool though, because we've connected a lot of just like pouring into each other, of like not trying to stop being who we are, because like she mentioned earlier about like feeling like you're too much, and it can be really damaging even as like the most extroverted person to like hear that, like because you're always the one that's expected to show up in social settings and to like have it all together and to be the life of the party and start every conversation,
even if you just walk through hell walking into that door.
And maybe there's like, and I don't know why there's not like space created for extroverts to like have introverted moment, like, and to not automatically assume that something's wrong. Like sometimes I might just, my social battery might just be a little bit not just filled up as before. And so check on your extroverted friends, and don't just assume that they are doing the best just because they're talking to people, because you might talk to a lot of people, but might not be known by a lot of people. And it can feel very isolating. And shout out to my introverts out there that like they've actually been the ones calling me out about when I'm being a hermit crab. And that's been like the beauty of our differences. Like they notice when I'm not being myself, or I'm kind of retrieving, and they're like, hey, like you haven't been really like your normal self. And like vice versa, I'm like, hey, like, well actually I've been like challenging some of my introverted friends to like get out there and be social, and they have been. And it's been weird when they're more social than me, and I'm like, what's going on? I need to like check myself and check my heart, and also just like take inventory, because it's so easy when you're busy that like you can like forget to take time for yourself. And especially if you're pouring out in so many different spaces like we are, that like you can sometimes forget and not even know
that you have
how
to
depleted you
back
are.
Up.
And whether that's taking a nap, whether that's just
going shopping,
going shopping. I'm not a big shopper. Like just existing, going out to the mountains, getting out in nature, go to the gym, like do something for yourself. And especially like me and her like just love people, and sometimes to the detriment of ourselves. And in the season of life you're in, being in college, like what would you say to somebody that is like in a similar season as you, like God's like bringing this breakthrough? Like what advice would you give them to like sustain the growth that like God's doing in their life?
I would say you're not behind. A lot of times I think to myself, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind in life, like because I do hang out with people that are older than me, so I'm like, oh well, they're doing this, I should be doing that. But at the end of the day, you're not them and they're not you. And I think it's important to know that God's written a different story for every single person. And my story is not your story, and your story is not my story, and it never will be. And I think it's important to share your story. Like, I had a really hard time sharing my story, because I was like, I don't want people to know, like, or they know this person, or I don't want them to see them differently because of something that happened to me. And I think it's important to share your story. Like, it took me a year before I ever shared anything that had happened. And so after I shared that story, I will say it's hard. Like, I sat on the floor and cried for 30 minutes because I was like, I just opened wounds that I had been covering up with band-aids, and now they're open again. And I think it's important to know that, like, in college, like, those wounds are probably going to get seen a little bit, and that's okay. It's okay for people to see those wounds. And I think it's good, because a lot of those people are not from here. Like, I live at home, so I'm a commuter, so it's a lot harder for me to find community. And I think it's important to just treat everybody the same. Like, you don't know what happened the day before, you don't know what happened 5 minutes before you walked up. And I think it's just important to go walk with some random person that's in your class, like, or if you have somebody sitting by themselves, like, be like, hey, what are you eating for lunch? I love to eat too. It's not that difficult.
And maybe you're an introvert hearing that and being like, heck no, Olivia.
You don't have to do that.
Listen, maybe just start by like saying hey to someone that you're sitting next to. Let's start there for you.
Or smile. Like,
smile.
as you're
or
walking
give a compliment
past
or
them.
Something.
Yes, like, if you're walking past them on the way to class, be like, oh, hey, and just smile, and keep walking. That'll mean so much to somebody. Because let me tell you, when I smile at people and they don't smile back, I'm like, are you for real? Like, I went out of my way to smile at you, and you didn't smile back. But at the end of the day, I have to remind myself, okay, maybe that smile meant a lot to them, and they didn't know how to respond.
That's true. Well, plus also, like, you're not doing it for, like, what you can get.
Yes.
You're just being who you are.
Yes.
And that when you're not around people that are also matching that, it can feel like that there's something wrong with you. But it's like, don't change yourself. Because I told Olivia that. I'm like, don't try to go in those spaces and try to feel like you have to, like, mold yourself to fit them. Because then you're going to be even more dissatisfied. And you're going to walk away, honestly, kind of losing yourself. And being like, who am I? When in actuality, it's like, who you are is enough. And I wish I would have known that, like, when I was her age, 19, like, I was around a lot of people. Like, I didn't have just one group of friends. Like, I was, you know, I didn't fit one friend group. I also had friends in every single group. And people didn't really know how to handle that because they were like, why don't you fit into one group? And it's like, why do I need to fit in one group? Like, I've just never been that person. Yeah. And so when I came to college, that's why I loved college in a lot of ways, because I'm like, there were so many people in different seasons and chapters of their life, and that like gap that was like in high school or like middle school, like, wasn't there anymore. But even in like in adulthood, you know, I'm obviously been out of college for a little bit. I'm ancient, but like, it's still hard to find friends. It's actually harder sometimes, because I was telling her when she was getting in her head about the girls being turds, I was like, listen, I was like, there's people that I have not even talked to that I thought were going to be like in my wedding, my best friend, like in college, and I don't even talk to them. I hope they're doing well. Shout out to y'all if you're listening to this. But like, you know, there's seasons for everything, so just be present in the now. Like, God will place who needs to be in your life in that exact timing. And it's okay if like your friends are in your life for a couple years and like God has something greater. That don't mourn something that like God might have closed the door for, like, so he can open new ones. And because there's people in my life that I never thought I would be friends with, like, not in a rude way, but just like our personalities are so different. Our interests are different, and I found beauty in that, where it's like you can love somebody and not like like to do the same stuff. Like, some of my friends, like, they are super creative, and I am too, but like, they're very like into like vintage stuff, and I'm like, I just don't even know anything about like thrifting and stuff. I go to Goodwill and I like find 0 things, and they walk out with like 40 items, and I'm like, how? Teach me your ways. But like, there's just beauty in loving people and existing with people. Like, some of my friends that I don't have those similarities with, we watch TV, or I don't even watch TV, but I watch TV with them, watch a movie, you know, channel your inner child, and like, you know, do a craft or something. I don't know about you, but like, the older I get, like, I realize that I revert back to like things that I wish I would have done more as a child, like, you know, coloring, or like, you know, I used to be a big Pinterest girl back in the day on my iPad. I would like, you know, look, and I was like, hey, I'm like getting back to dreaming again. And I don't know about you, but like, as you've gotten older and like being in college, like, do you feel like that there's been part of you, because you're so career centered and like future driven, that you've like lost that wonder a little bit?
I think a lot of times I have to remind myself that I don't have to work so much. I'm going to be working the rest of my life.
Like, working 4 jobs, y'all.
I work 4 jobs.
As a 19-year-old.
Yes. And I've worked 4 jobs since I was 16. And so a lot of times I forget I'm going to be working the rest of my life. Like, I do not have to work so much right now. Like, I can go and have fun. And I think a lot of times, like, I do struggle with that, because I'm like, well, I have to pay this bill, or I have to do this, or I have to do that. And those are still going to be there when I get back from going out to dinner. Like, it's not like it's going to change. And I think a lot of times, like, when I'm asking to go do things with my friends, I'm asking to go do, like, more like activities, like, let's go to the gym park, or like, let's go do things that like we wouldn't do on a regular day basis, because when we are kids, we take those things for granted. And I think as I've gotten older, I'm like, oh, I really do have like a solid set of parents, I have a solid family, and like things like that. Like, people would do whatever they could to have this, and I take it all for advantage. And I think a lot of times now I do tend to go back to, oh, let me just go walk in the park, let me just go do whatever. And I love it. Like, last night I was babysitting, and me and the kids played cops and robbers, and like, I had a blast. And
you're living your best life.
I was living my best life. And I think it's important to know that, like, just because you're older doesn't mean you still can't have fun. Like, you can have fun and be a Christian, you can have fun and not get drunk, like, you can have fun and do all these things and still have a good experience, if not better experience than what they ever had.
Yeah, I mean, like, we were literally like kids outside. Like, she was just sitting on the freaking picnic table outside, doing some type of pose, living her best life.
I was doing some yoga pose.
Yeah, some yoga pose. That cannot be me, y'all. if you're catching me do yoga or Pilates, like, God is coming back the next day. Like, I have friends that are like, let's go do Pilates, and I'm like, I'm that person that goes to, like, one time she was like, we should work out together. Have we worked out together?
No.
Because the gym is my sacred
work in
place.
2 different places.
Yes, it's true. But a little bit, I want to, like, also talk about, because obviously, like we said, we're single, and there's probably someone listening that maybe they are in the waiting season like we are. How would you challenge the people that are listening to find beauty in their singleness? Like, what are some things that you think are beneficial?
I would say make yourself the person you want to find. I think that's very important, because you can't expect something from somebody else when you're not doing it. And that's hard to learn. You're like, oh, but I want him to be intentional. Well, he can't be intentional with you if you're not being intentional with him.
True.
And I think it's very important to also realize that you're not the same person. Like, the way he loves and the way you love are not going to be the same thing. Like, for example, like, love languages. Like, my love language is quality time. Like, I just want you to want to hang out with me. I just want you to pick me. I just want you to choose me, love me, all those things. Whatever movie that's from. But a lot of the guys I've dated, theirs have been, like, words of affirmation or physical touch. And those are not my strong suits. Like, I'm like, oh, you look good today. And that's it. Or I'm like, oh, thanks for that. And I'm like, oh, well, that was a compliment from me, but he may not have took it that way.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to, like, tell yourself now that you're not the same person. They're not going to know how to love you unless you tell them how to love you. And I think you have to figure out which way you want to be loved.
And also find someone that doesn't make you feel bad for how you desire to be loved.
Yes.
Because the right person will have a desire to show you that love no matter how that looks.
Yeah.
And it might be an adjustment. There needs to be grace for that, because like if it doesn't come naturally to you, like, there's gonna need some, like, grace where you're like, hey, I need to learn how to do that. I need to learn how to, do show acts of service. Yes. Or to, like, maybe if they're not a physical touch person and, like, you are, and they're not the person that's gonna come grab your hand, they might have to learn how to do that. And we were talking about this earlier, like, a lot of girls, mind you, her love language is not physical touch, but mine is, and I used to always lie about that, like, to myself, to, like some of the guys in my past. I used to be like, oh no, because, like, girls are not supposed to want to have physical affection, which is a lie from the pit of hell, y'all, because it's okay to want that. And I told her, like, as you're growing, evolving, and healing, those, like, your love languages are going to evolve and they're going to change. Like, my love language a couple, like, years ago, like, I had to walk through some trauma growing up, like, sexual abuse trauma, and I hated physical touch. I did not want to be hugged. I did not want to, if a man was near me, like, even if he looked at me, that was too much. And to, like, see how much God has done in my life, where now I'm like, I desire physical affection, like, that's, like, honestly amazing, and it's a sign of redemption that, like, God's done in my life. And so, like, find people that, like, are going to, like, pull that out of you, and to, like, not try to shame you for it. And they might, like, she's different than me, like, she's not a physical touch person, but, like, she still gives me hugs, like, here and there, and I love that.
I do.
And, like, you don't have to change who you are. Like, I don't have to change to be the type of, like, person she is, because that would be boring, because two of us are the same person.
I would not want to hang out with the same person as you.
Yeah, like, I want to hang out with her because I think I'm boring. I need some liveliness, And also, we were talking too about the beauty of being with someone that is different than you. Just not even about love languages, but that, you can have these standards for that, like, you want to find in somebody, but, like, don't be so fixated on those things that, like, you miss out on who God could have in front of you. Because, if you're, like you said, if you're not emulating, you're having a double standard and not bringing to the table, like, what you're expecting, like, why the heck would that person, like, if you're a guy listening, why would that girl, like, want to, be loyal to you if you're not loyal to her? Like, why would that, guy want to be loving and intentional if all you ever do is beat him down, or, like, because also, like, one of the biggest things that I learned from previous seasons is men really desire to be respected. And me and Olivia are very independent women, and can come across as a little standoffish sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for her, because we can relate so much, where it's like, it's freeing to be around someone that gets it, where it's like, you know, we haven't always wanted to be this way. Like, we didn't just
we
overnight.
don't always want to be
We
this
want
way.
to have a man that, like, can make us, like, channel our inner femininity and be girly and to be taken care of. But, like, that comes with trust. That comes with, you know, caring and loving you well, you know, and having that emotional safety to feel like you can connect with someone and commit to somebody. And so, and what's funny is I've been trying to encourage Olivia too, is like the things about us that like might not be the cutest, that like God still loves about us, and that like there's still beauty that can be found in those traits, because that's how God has helped us survive this long, you know, to make it on the other side, to be open to like meet someone again, and that, you know, find somebody that is going to bring out that spark in you, that is going to make you want to, I know like the topic submission is like a taboo topic, but like obviously like when you get married to somebody, I mean, you've talked about like, oh wow, that's a little scary, the idea of like submission, but it's like, it's a mutual thing. And I think the church has kind of failed at talking about it from a holistic standpoint of like, it's two people dying to themselves to become one under Christ. And so it's not this, you know, one person thing where it's like, oh, just a woman submitting to a man and being like a slave to a man, where it's like, no, it's like, if you found the right man, you should love him so much that like you want to lay your life down for him, like you want to serve him, and that like that isn't a chore, but that's because that's how much you love him, that you want to like do what he's asking, and vice versa, and like him be, you know, able to not feel inferior because we're little people, you know what I mean? Because have you felt like that in the past, that you might have, you know, tried to change yourself because someone had made you feel that way, and then how did that go for you?
Yes. I've changed myself many ways through dating. I've lied about my story. I've done XYZ. Like, I've become introverted on a date because I was like, oh, he doesn't like girls with big personalities, like I can't do this, and time after time it's failed. Like, I can only put up an act for so long, he can only put up an act for so long, and I think it's important to know that like God made you the way he made you for a reason. Like, I can impact somebody's life just as much as somebody that is introverted and doesn't really like to talk to anybody, as much as they can impact somebody's life. And I think it's important to know that, like I said earlier, like your story's not my story, and it's important to know that the Lord, I'm a big believer in, I don't think you have a soulmate. Like, I think the Lord has given, there's many guys out here that you could possibly, like, what's the word?
End up with, or
yes,
choose.
yes. But I think there is one man that the Lord has been like, this is who I made for you. And so I think there's a big importance in realizing that I can get along with all these guys that I'm dating, but is this the man that I believe the Lord has made for me? And it's a lot like when you're choosing a school, or like when you're choosing to go on a trip and you're looking at the GPS, like, should I go this way or should I go that way? And I think it's important to know that no matter which way, the Lord's going to give you a blessing. Like, if you go to the right or if you go to the left, like, something good's going to come out of it, and you're going to learn something out of it, even if it's bad. And I think it's important to know that, like, imagine yourself as a plate. Like, if I shatter a plate to put it in a box, the plate's never going to look the way it did in the beginning, because it's got all the cracks in it, even if it is glued together. And I think it's important to know that you are a plate and you don't need to break yourself. There's a box out there that you're going to fit in.
That's so good.
And it's important to know that. And that's what I would say.
That's good. It makes me think of how I told you last night I had watched Redeeming Love, or is it Redeeming Love, with my friend Becca, and she didn't know that part about my testimony that like I shared a little bit ago about just like trauma, you know, physical trauma growing up with men, and how that's such a if you haven't seen that movie, I would highly recommend it, but prepare yourself that if you have any trauma, ask God just to like prepare your heart, because I think that it's really worth watching, because it really like honestly rewired something in me, because you know, it's literally about the story about this girl that like grew up, and obviously I did not grow up in prostitution. I'm just saying, you've gone through any type of sexual trauma, you can relate to being taken advantage of, because that was her story her whole life. You know, her mom grew up being taken advantage of, and she had to provide for her daughter by literally putting herself on the line, and so that passed down to her. And there was this man that literally like is a farmer and I'm sorry I'm spoiling this for you, but it's worth sharing, is like he like saw her from afar, mind you. Like all these guys are looking at her, trying to like sexualize her and look at like just for her body, but like he saw this woman and was like, wow, that's like the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Like, I'm gonna marry her. And all these people around him were like shaming him, like, why would you want to be with her? Like, she's like literally like the prostitute of the town. And he still didn't like bat an eye at that. And it just was like so like fulfilling for like the Lord to like remind me that like the right man is going to love you for all of you, and that no matter what you've done, no matter, and this goes for guys too, like if you're listening, like there's someone out there that like God has designed to love the fullness of you, the good parts about you, the parts that you want to hide, the parts that you wish didn't exist, that those still made you who you are. And I was just like, I was weeping and crying after that. I told Olivia, I was like, I'm over here thinking we're gonna watch some like rom-com, and we could have watched that, but then I was like, God really set me up, and I thought, what better way the day before Valentine's Day for like God to wreck me and remind me like, hey Hannah, like you might have been in a failed relationship, or hey, you might have been taken advantage of when you were younger, but like I have such an incredible love story for you that like I'm writing that is gonna blow your mind, and that is going to like completely just make it feel like none of the things that I experienced before could even compare, because of how much God has for me. And I know that for like her and for like everybody listening, that like God isn't done with your story, and that Olivia this morning was so sweet and had freaking got me flowers and a gift. I think, is it back there? Can you reach it? She got me this gift. I'm making her get the gift that she gave me. She gave me this gift, and I'm gonna have her talk about it for a second, because I think this is so sweet and God is so intentional. What the heck? She's trying to make me cry.
Okay, so when I was 16, I went to a girls' camp, and we had a woman. She was in charge, and she was giving us a Christian growth talk, but also she was giving us a talk about single life. And she had been single, she had never been married, and so she was in her 40s, I think, or late 30s, and so it was very eye-opening to see that there are still people out there that don't have that said relationship yet. And so at the end of her talk, she gave us all a tie, and she was like, okay, I want you to put this in your room, and every time you look at it, I want you to pray for your future husband. I want you to pray for his health, I want you to pray for his family, I want you to pray for your future marriage, all those things. And so ever since I was 16, I've had this tie, and I've been praying for it. And she was like, and in my head, I'm like, okay, nobody's ever gonna see this tie but him. He's the first person that's going to see it. He's the first person that's going to wear it. He's the only person that's ever going to wear it. And just things like that. And so I took this opportunity to go get Hannah her own tie for her future husband, so she can.
So cute. Sorry, the
that.
box is already sponsored by Walmart. Is the box. But it's so cute. Y'all, a tie that my future husband is going to be wearing. You're like, y'all, go get you a tie. Yeah. Literally, I'm like, I told her, I was like, even if you forget to pray sometimes, like, even say you're going through a hard time or struggling, like, go physically pick it up and be like, okay, like, God, I know you're gonna come through, like, I know he's coming, you know. And like for her, just she knows the season I came out of, literally thinking I was gonna get married, and like when she's talking about, you know, just thinking that like maybe you don't have a chance if like, you know, things have happened, where it's like, praise God that I know God redeems things, where I'm like, or like the soulmate thing, like there, I agree with her on that, because somebody could look at my story and say, oh well, you're screwed, you know, your life's over, there is no man out there, because the one that you were with didn't work out. And it's like, no, like there's beauty in everything, and so go get you a flipping tie. And if you're a guy, go, I don't know, buy a mug, a pair of socks,
earrings,
a necklace,
anything.
or something. And she was talking about how, like, you know, give yourself grace. Like, it's okay if you don't like pray over every
I don't
single
do
day.
it every day. I probably do it once a week, once every other week. Like, it's okay. Like, I'm just being for real. But it's a thought that you have that, and that's what you're keeping it for.
Well, plus it's also just like a physical reminder to like hold on to. It's like, okay, God, like I know you're gonna do it. And so, and what's so funny is I've actually seen people do this. So the fact that she did that, I was like, oh my gosh, like what the heck?
I didn't know other people actually did it.
Yes, I've heard people do this. Like not like a lot, but it's been like a couple years. And then so when first I was like, what did she give me? I'm over here, gave her perfume. I was like, she ever gave me this. I'm over here crying in the Christian club. Like, hey, here's some smell good stuff. Just calling me out. I need to be more deep with my gifts. Okay. Usually I am, but I was slacking.
My love language to other people is gift giving.
Well, I usually am. I was slacking. But
I'm gift giving on a budget.
Girl, that was a great gift. My future man's gonna be appreciative.
Good.
Like, Olivia's gonna be in my wedding one day and get to, like, tell
I'll
him
be
to,
like, I bought that tie.
I bought that tie. You're welcome. I was thinking of you, praying for you to come help my homegirl out. But I just want to, like, finish this podcast off before we, like, go with just, like, what's your last piece of just advice to people listening? It can be about Jesus. I mean, of course, everything we talk about is rooted in Jesus, but just whatever the Lord lays on your heart to, like, share to people.
I would say just because he's a good guy, don't settle. There's good guys, and there's guys that you're like, oh, I could see a future with him. But he's not checking all the boxes. So don't settle for your top boxes. Like, if he doesn't love the Lord, don't settle. Don't marry or date somebody that their relationship with the Lord is not as firm as yours, because you want somebody that's gonna, iron sharpens iron, you want somebody that's gonna help sharpen you, and you want to sharpen somebody else too. So that's what I would say, is don't settle just because they're a good guy.
True. Plus, it's so true of, like, also seeing how they handle different situations, because I've been around, like, guys where, like, I thought they were going to, like, run to the people, like, the church community, like, there are people in hard times, and they fled from that, and they, like, isolated, and I was, like, so thankful God spared me, because I'm like, I want to be led by a man that is going to, like, and mind you, no, there's no perfect person, but that a man that is so rooted in Christ and so rooted in his faith and is connected to the body that, like, he's going to know to, like, hey, I need to go reach out for help. I need to go, humble myself and, like, go to the altar or, like, ask for prayer. And it's so important to, like, be equally yoked with someone. And I was talking with my friend the other day that it's important to not just be equally yoked and just being a believer. Like, there's so many other things. Like, you should be with someone that you're as equally as yoked as possible in all different areas. There's obviously, like we said, differences are okay, but, like, the big, foundational things, just don't do it. And also, don't bank off potential, y'all. Don't do it.
Don't be like, oh, I can change him. Babe, you can't change him.
You can't.
If he won't change while you're dating, he ain't gonna change when you get married.
And also, this was, like, really harsh that someone said to me, but so it was like, what you're looking at is what you're working with. Yeah. And so if what you're looking at is not much, you don't got much to work with. And so
if you wouldn't let your daughter date him, you shouldn't be dating him.
Yes. And on it, when you said that, I'm so thankful that, like, the younger generation is, like, having that, like, embodiment of, like, no, like, we're not doing this, we're stopping. We're not going to pass that down to our kids, and we're going to set good examples, because that's honestly, like, what got me out of my last relationship, was God was like, because I was so thinking of others more than myself, that, like, he had hey, whatever it takes, God will use anything. But he was like, Hannah, would you tell your daughter, like, if your daughter came to you and was like, hey, mom, like, what would you do in this situation? Like, would you stay with this man? Would you marry him? And if literally you're going to tell your daughter to, like, settle for breadcrumbs, like, what type of mom would you be? Like, and God really humbled me and is, like, healing something in me where it's like, love yourself enough to like, marry someone that sees your worth, values your worth, that encourages you to embody it in, like, everything that you do. That, like, you might have, of course, we all have insecurities, like, but you want to be with a man that's gonna, like, make you feel so secure, like, like, want to go out and do all the things that God's called you to do to the fullest of it, and to, go out and be bold, even if that means, being around people that, not as lively or as outgoing. Like, there's someone out there for you. And so we love you guys. We hope that this encourages you to go buy a tie, go buy a mug for your girl if you're a guy listening. And why don't you pray for us?
Okay, dear Jesus, I just thank you so much for this day. Thank you for this opportunity that Hannah has created, that we're able to pour into these people's lives. I pray, thank you for the opportunity that you have given her this. I pray that as it is Valentine's Day, that whoever's struggling, that you will just give them a peace and state of mind, that you're the greatest love story and they don't need anything else, Lord. I pray that you will just remind them how much you love them and how much you care about them and the bright future they have ahead. I pray that if there's any advice in here that these people are struggling with, that they will reach out for help. I pray that these people will just know that you love them and care for them, and we love them and care for them, and that their story is important and it should be shared. In your holy and precious name, amen.
Amen. Call me if you need some prayer requests. And y'all, don't forget, Jesus is the ultimate Valentine, y'all.
Ultimate.
He is the only man that we need, as Olivia Dean would sing. Love y'all.